Shares of Walgreens soared after a Wall Street Journal report said it was in talks to sell itself to private equity firm Sycamore Partners. It's the latest headline in the M&A space after yesterday's merger news from ad giants Omnicom and Interpublic Group, along with an insurance deal, speculation about a takeover of Hershey's. We could just keep on going down the list over the last 48 hours. And moments ago, it was reported that a federal judge has blocked the Kroger and Albertsons deal, and that President Biden is set to block the U.S. Steel Nippon deal. That's reportedly the case. Joining us now on set is our own Leslie Picker, along with Anu Aiyengar. She is JPMorgan's Global Head of Advisory and M&A. Welcome to you both. Leslie.
Thank you, Morgan. Anu, maybe we start there because those are a lot of headlines, and it almost feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. How are companies digesting the current environment in terms of whether or not they have appetite to do deals in this environment, or, is 2025 looking any brighter given the whole antitrust environment?
Oh, there's certainly a lot of M&A news this week. We picked a good day.
Yeah, we did.
The animal spirits are certainly back, and the optimism in the business community is extremely high. The outlook for the debt markets, the equity markets, M&A markets, all for 2025, pretty good. That's on one side, right? And why is that? Because people expect interest rates to continue to decline, more IPOs to happen, and the regulatory framework to be less onerous, broadly speaking, not just antitrust, but broadly speaking. All of that bodes well for M&A. And you've seen a bunch of deal activity, because sometimes people say it's better to trade on the hope than wait for the reality, right? And so yesterday you saw a bit of a merger Monday, and there's more kind of rumors and activity that you spoke about today. On the other side, there are deals that were announced 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that have been waiting for a very long time period, and a series of them that you've seen that are not getting completed. Whether it's the announcements from today or earlier on, there were a couple of deals, big deals, which were blocked also. And so, and you combine with that we still don't know exactly what policy is going to be. You know the direction of policy. There is an expectation that all of these things will happen, but the exact magnitude of that is unknown. But having said that, the optimism right now in the business community seems pretty high.
I'm glad you brought that up about policy and the direction of policy, because just earlier today on Squawk Box, Jonathan Cantor, who's the outgoing Biden administration head of antitrust at DOJ, had this to say. Have a listen.
If you look at where antitrust is today versus 30 years ago, it's night and day. We've seen a shift in our policy. And that's because I think we've seen a shift in how the country views corporate concentration. I don't think that's going to change. How it's implemented and will shift, and it'll evolve just as it has from the last administration to the current administration. But I think we've seen a great deal of continuity, including from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, and I expect we'll see an evolution to continue, and I think that's healthy.
So basically, Cantor saying that he expects this path forward in policy to essentially continue, and it's worth noting that some of the big antitrust suits against the big tech companies actually started under Trump 1.0. And even just last week, Trump picked Gail Slater to head the Justice Department's antitrust division. She's seen as an antitrust hawk. So it raises the question, just how lenient, potentially, amid all the animal spirits and all the chatter, do we actually think the Trump administration is going to be to the most dominant companies making deals moving forward?
Yeah, only time will tell. And one interesting thing about this Trump 2.0 is, other than previous administrations, it's not all the same people in the same seats. In fact, there's really nobody in the same seat. Everybody is new. So you can't look at a previous track record and say it's going to be the same. And a lot of the policy outlined leading up to the elections all point to a less government role in business. So I think that is what is driving a lot of the optimism.